Great. So how you doing today?
Just fine.
Great. Well, thanks for taking the time to book a demo with me. If I can ask, what brought you to Hubbli to check us out?
I'm in the process of evaluating different systems for enrolling my parents, managing the files of the parents, that including birth certificates and immunization records, being able to send emails for uh, field trips or any other
Hmm.
types of information, and also to be able to take pictures and send to the parents about their child's day and
Yeah.
communicate in such a way. But I saw that you specialize in Montessori, so I thought I would give it a try. I was about to go with a different system until I did a little bit more research and ran across Hubbli.
Oh, neat. Okay, great. Um, well, thanks for letting me know all that. That's all helpful information. It sounds like we certainly have we offer the features that you've described. We do a lot more as well. And I'll just jump into that. So I'll start sharing my screen with you here. Just bear with me a moment. Okay, great. And also, if I can ask, how big is your school right now?
I'm sorry.
How big is your school? What's your enrollment
We
like?
have two small locations with capacity about 90 at each location.
Oh, okay, that's great. And for Montessori, that's not so small. um, okay, so are you able to see my screen clearly?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Okay, great. So Hubbly is built to be, your all-in-one parent communication system. Um, and parent communication, or you could also call it parent engagement. It's a very broad term. So we're helping you manage communication, more efficiently and productively from the point of, engaging prospective parents, all the way through the enrollment process and then when they're enrolled and all the communications you need to manage while they're enrolled as well. Um, and so I'll just move on to talk about why we built Hubble, because what we saw was schools trying to improve their communication are creating kind of sort of patchwork communication structures using multiple tools, and each one is kind of its own database in and of itself and has to be managed and upkept every time people change their information. And schools are still using a lot of paper generally. Is that does that relate to your school as well?
Well, right now we don't have a system, and it's all been paper driven.
Okay, all paper driven. So probably spending a lot of time just managing the paper
Yeah,
processing.
I'm overwhelmed right now, so I'm trying to find something efficient.
Yeah, great. Yeah, okay, great. So we certainly have something for you. And just the reason why Hubbly uh, again why it's so important to do this is because the private school market is growing, and it seems to be while it grows, schools are having a harder time on an individual level to maintain enrollment. It might not be the case for you, but it seems to be a trend across the U.S. And so I'm just going to skip down to features now. Um, so first and foremost, all of the features that we give to you, it's all delivered through a website. So that's the location where everything's happening. Uh, Now, a lot of our customers use their Hubly site to replace their main website, and at the same time, a lot don't. A lot actually keep their main website, and then what we do is we match their Hubbly site, the branding. It's really easy to change the look and feel of your Hubbly site to match your existing site. So it's a seamless experience for everybody. But in that Hubbly site is where all of your tools are. It's like a toolbox, for communication. That's where your newsletters are, like your newsletter tool, and I'll run through the different features, but they're all housed inside that website. Um, and then so the core feature for Hubbly is is when you log in, right? So if it's if it's being used as a main website for the school for prospective families, so there's pages and information just for the public. And then when a parent logs in, it's kind of like going into a parent portal, but I kind of refer to it like a parent portal on steroids. So it's built to be a private social network. So it's like having your own little Facebook, and there's groups for everything, right? So all the different programs have groups, and like the enrollment programs, like wherever a child is enrolled into, there's a group, and the teacher is the admin of that group, and the parents are the members of that group. And you can create groups for anything as well. It can be for
Do
a
I have
staff
access
group.
to all these groups?
You do as the admin. You have access to everything all the time. But we also everything's broken down by role, so there's permissions, there's different permission levels and access depending on the roles people are, and you can customize all of that too. So it really is, it's very customizable as well. Um, so so let's say a teacher wants to just send a message to the parents of a room, or let's say you want to. So you can go in and you post something to just to the parents of that class. What we see a lot. The example here we've got. It's just reminding people that tomorrow's pizza day. But you could. What we see a lot is things like there's a fever in the class today, or we found a case of lice. Things like that are just kind of like not necessarily exciting things, but they're important, and you want to get that out to the parents of that particular room, as opposed to like
What if a parent has a beef and they want to do it in a public group? I'm not too keen on that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So you don't have to let them, they don't have to be able to do that. So per group, you can actually turn that feature on and off for the different roles. So some schools like to have parents be able to go in and post something, whereas a lot of schools, depending on their parents or just their own sort of philosophy, just keep it as like a broadcasting group. So if a parent logged in here, they wouldn't see that field at the top to post something. And if you notice how there's like a comment feature underneath the post, that can be turned on and off as well. So like I said, it's really customizable, and you can change that on a group to group basis. So that, let's say, one group of parents you feel really good about doing that, or as an example, a staff group, you might want staff to be able to use that group and engage like that. There's a lot of value to that. It's very much like a Facebook group, right? So you can have a staff group and people can like post things in there. We see schools with a group for everybody, like staff and subs. So if somebody can't come in, the staff, like the teacher, will post in there like, can anybody sub for me today, or something like that. And it's a really quick and efficient way to handle things like that. But there's so many different scenarios where this type of communication is helpful. But you're right, you do need the ability to control that, right? So it's all done on your terms. And what's also really helpful is that every post that goes out, every message that's sent to a parent is tracked. So you know who opened it or who read it or clicked on it or even replied to it. So what happens is when something gets posted in the group, and if I just draw your attention, there's all these different ways of communicate. Like there's different forms of information inside these groups. There you can put photo albums, you can share photos and documents, you can create calendar events, and you can create forms here as well, and it's all organized by the group. But when something's posted in the group, it goes out to the parents as an email, and it can also go out as a text message notification. So let's say, again, Pat's the teacher and she posted that reminder about pizza day in the group. Well, it would also go out to the parents as an email, and they can control how they get those, whether it's uh, in real time or once a day, like a daily digest or a weekly digest. They can also turn it off so they don't get notifications, and at the same time, you can always override it. So if they turn off notifications and something's important, you want to make sure it goes out, you can actually go in and send it, override and just post it to everybody. Um, in any event, so let's say a teacher posts something in the group, it goes out as a message to everybody. It comes as an email from that teacher, so they recognize who it is, of course, and it's got your school branding around the email and the message is there, and they can just reply to this email. They don't even need to log into Hubbli. they can just reply to the email and continue on the conversation. And Hubbly
Does,
actually
does
manages.
the parent do the parents see the reply of all the parents?
No, no, no. It goes back as a private conversation now. Yeah, we wouldn't want to do that. That's for sure. Um, so
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
when anybody,
What I really want to see is how to enroll students and how my teachers can engage parents with pictures or that's what I really want to see.
okay, um, so I'll skip over some things. So, well, this is actually an important feature as well. There's a newsletter feature that can be sent from the group and also from the school wide, and you can send pictures inside these newsletters. Um, and you can, again, everything's tracked, and you can schedule a newsletter to go out later. Um, uh, Talking about the enrollment process, so we have these digital forms, and the forms handle any type of parent paperwork that you collect currently, with any type of enrollment process. This is just an example of a field trip. It's a very simple form, but it handles signatures and payments, and as the forms are submitted by the parents, it's all managed for you digitally. So it's really incredibly easy and fast to look up everything. And also the forms can be used for for teacher documentations. Schools use Hubbly forms for any types of progress reports or scope and sequences and things like that, and also things like attendance or incident reports, all that stuff. And every child has a page that's dedicated to that child, and all the records, right, for that child are automatically you know show up on that page. It's like a digital filing cabinet for that student, and it's shared privately with the parents. So anything that the parents submit about the child and anything that the teacher submit about the child all show up on that student's page
So
as well.
how do you download immunization records or state records that need to be signed?
But how do you download them?
Yeah,
The
like
one,
if you have an immunization record,
yeah.
do you take a picture of it and upload it, or how would that work?
Well, so our forms handle signatures. So there's two things. So every different states, well, states work differently, right? So some states are fine with, like licensors are fine with um, taking, like if you we build all the forms for you. You can do it yourself, but we, as a service, we do it for you as well. And if you send us all your forms and all your state forms, we can build them to be digital forms, and the parents can do the signature on the digital form itself. Um, some
But
states are different.
like for example, parents will just bring us a form from the doctor and it has all the immunizations on it. I don't want to have to take the time to transfer the information when a picture of it is just fine for the state. So
Yeah,
how am I?
you can upload that. Yeah, you can just they can just upload that.
That's what I'm asking. So there's a feature to take pictures and upload.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. They can upload a PDF file or any type of file. They can just upload it.
Okay, what if daily communications about infants, about how would that look? Do you have infant features like with development?
Yeah, so the digital forms would handle that. So like however you like whatever you do, whatever your documentation process is, we would build it into the digital form.
And how long would it take for you to do that?
Just a couple days.
No, our forms are kind of detailed.
Yeah, we get, we sign up schools every day for this service, and I promise you, you don't have anything that's different than any other school out there. Everybody gives us all the standard stuff, and we build it all for you.
And what is the cost?
The cost is, I mean, I haven't shown you everything, but the cost is, for the setup, the way it works is you go through an onboarding process where you basically dump all that stuff on us, like your database and all your forms and everything. We set it up for you, and we train you. We have a great training program too, so that you know how the system works and you're really comfortable on it. That's all $19.99. So you get your site. If you want to use Hubbli as your main website or just as an extension of your website, we will migrate everything over from your main website, whatever. We'll design it so it matches your existing site, and we'll do all that training. So there's like an online training program, and there's also a 10 session one-on-one coaching training program as well, where we work with you, coach you through the system. Um, and that's all a one-time fee of $19.99.
A little
And
under $1,000.
yeah, $1,999.
And
And then
what's the ongoing fee like for is that every year that's 19.99 or
yeah, so the way it works is if you want to pay annually to use Hubbli, so that onboarding service is a separate fee, so that's just for the onboarding, and then using the Hubbli subscription is $199 a month for what I've shown you and more. There's more features than I've shown you. And we have also a tuition management system if you're interested in that as
I am
well, which
interested with tuition management. What about employee time carding or anything like that?
yeah, schools use our digital forms for that as well. The reason why we built this digital form tool that really kind of it's so these aren't separate features. What we built is a robust digital form tool that really handles like any situation, and we set it up for you as well, so that you don't have to figure out how to configure it and all that. But yeah, it schools use it for sign in and sign out, for employee time tracking. It's got every type of input that you need to build any scenario, and they're really really advanced, so they can really do anything. But the experience of using them is really simple and easy.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then um, so the using our tuition system, which is
I would like
uh,
to see that. Go ahead.
yeah, so this is what it looks like. So basically, every family has an account, and you create invoices for whatever your standard invoicing system is. So it can just auto bill them on a monthly basis, or and they can pay online with a credit card or with their checking account. They can also print off the invoice and bring you a check if you want to collect checks as well, and you can input the check amount on their against their account. So you get full reporting, and the parents are getting invoiced on a regular basis. Whatever your, monthly is the usual case, but can be different as well. And then, if you're accepting the online payments, they just go directly into your bank account. Then you're getting, you get full reporting on it, and the parents also have a ledger where they can log in and see, what their account is and all their invoices and their balance
So
and
what are the
status.
fees for paying by credit card? Is that something that parents pay on top of the tuition, or is it deducted from?
Yeah, so it actually goes both ways. So you can, it's up to you actually. If you want to, the credit card fee, well, so the e-check fee. So there's two different ways of paying online. One is with a credit card, and one is with their bank account, or what you call e-check. Now e-check is a 1% transaction fee, um, plus 30 cents per transaction, and then the credit card is a 2.99% plus 30 cents per transaction. And the you have the option to turn off credit card completely if you want to. You or you can keep it on. You also have the option to forward the fees to the parents. So that you're only paying 1% on either. And if the parent selects uh actually no, you're just forwarding the fees to the parents.
So if the parent is paying $1,000 and they wish to pay by e-check, that would be an $8 fee for that parent.
It would be 1%, an
Yeah,
additional
1%.
1%.
1% of $800 is $8.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you said $1,000. I don't know why I was thinking
Yeah,
$1,000.
if it was $1,000, it'd be $10 on top of that.
Yeah. and that would be their choice. So the way it works is when they go to pay, they have the option to pay this much using credit card or this much using e-check, right? Um, and then so and then they can print off if you want to accept like physical checks, they can print it off. And a lot of parents actually go with the credit card, even though it's more expensive, because they like to get the points.
Um,
So those are the. So this is an add-on, just so you know. So it's an add-on of $99 a month. I didn't complete. I didn't tell you all the payment options. Um, so the Hubbli Essentials system is $199 a month. That includes everything that I've shown you and more, except for this. This tuition management system is an additional $99 a month, so it comes to $298 a month if you're paying monthly. If you want to pay annually, then it reduces the amount by $600 a year. So it's actually $50 less per month.
okay, so for the monthly service of managing the records, communication with the parents is $199 per month. And then the budgeting or billing part of it is an additional $199.
No, it's an additional $99 a month.
Okay, so we're just looking at $299 right now. Any other?
$298 just to be exact. $298.
Okay, $298. Yes.
If you're paying monthly, but if you want to pay annually, it'll either be $149 a month or $248 a month.
Okay.
So it's not, you're not that's the $248 a month times 12 if you want to pay annually, or $149 a month times 12, so $1788, or I have to do the math on the other one. Yeah, and then so that's how our pricing works. Can I show you a few more features that we offer just so that you know everything that we do?
Sure.
Okay, great. So I didn't need to do that, so sorry. So another really important feature is events. So we do calendar management as well. So you've got a school-wide calendar management system where you can put all your events in, and you can assign the events either like to the whole school or to each individual group. And well, for the parents, they can just subscribe to the events. So the events that pertain to them show up in whatever device they like to use. So they're synchronizing their iPhone, their Android, or their Google Calendar. So it really makes it easier to keep parents informed of what's going on in the school. And if the parents log in and go to the system, let's say they go to the school-wide calendar, it only shows them the events that are relevant to them. It filters away events that are for other programs or whatnot, where they don't have children. And beyond that, we also have an appointment management system as well, which is really great for booking school tours and also for like parent-teacher conferences. So you set up appointment schedules in advance, and then people can come and select sessions, and then it sends them reminders and informs you and all that stuff. So it just automates that process and makes things really, really, really easy and efficient. And
so if I want to do tours only on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9:30 and 10:30,
that's all they'll be able to select.
And the parents will be able to only select those fields.
Exactly. Yeah. And then as they get filled up, you can put a capacity on them. Either it's just one family per tour, or maybe you don't want to do more than 3. You can put a capacity on it, and then once it's filled up, it's unavailable to anybody else, and they have to select.
So once the inquiry says, I want to set up a tour, the email goes to them and to me?
Yeah, you're informed, they're informed. And you can set it up so they even have more reminders, but by default, there's always a reminder You can set it up 2 days before and then 2 hours before, just to really
Oh,
help remind them. And you can write that all in advance. So, you know, and then as well, this is an example. So not only do we have the forms for the paperwork and the tools like the booking, we also automate these processes so that and this is just and so we set this up custom for every school. This is part of that 1999 setup. So as an example, this is an example of an enrollment process that we created for a school. They came in at the top from doing a Google search, and they found their Hubbli site because their Hubbli sites get ranked very high in Google rankings. So your Hubbli site will help you be found by more prospective families. So it
okay.
helps you with marketing.
So will the Hubbly site be in addition to my website?
If you want it to be, it can either replace it or be in addition to your website.
I would be in addition to because I just spent $5,000 on creating a new website.
Right. So you should not get rid of it. Keep it. At the same time, just so you know, you spent $5,000 really on the design of your website more than the technology that powers the website. So if you want, even if you're to say move my design onto your Hubbly site, we'll do that for you, and you didn't lose anything. Like the design, we just transfer the design over on you, and then you've got your design on a better website because I guarantee you the Hubbly's website is going to perform much better. But there is a good reason, just so you know, there's value to keeping both sites. It's like having two different billboards. You just get more traffic that way, right?
I
So
probably,
it's
I probably would prefer that, particularly having multiple locations.
yeah, sure.
So
Yeah,
how
well,
would
listen, there's a lot of different ways that make sense. There's no one way. There's no one fit. So that's something we can consult you with, and we'll give you advice. But we don't like we don't care which way you go. We're going to support you either way. We don't care because you're gonna get value both ways, right? So you're
yeah,
going to get value from your Helply site and from your main site.
for my main site, I have a marketing team that helps me with campaigns with Facebook or they blog for me.
Okay, great. And you can do all of that. So they could do all of that on your Hubbly site as well. Just so you know, like your Hubbly site is also a platform where they can do all of that. It has a blog. It has connections built in for Facebook. We've built all of those marketing tools into your Hubbly site. So your marketing team doesn't need. So you have to remember there's a difference between the design of your site and the actual website technology that powers the website, right? Like the technology of the actual web pages. So where your design sits doesn't matter. What really matters, sorry, the design can go anywhere. What I'm trying to say is you can apply that design. If you said, I want to use your website technology, we'll just take your design and put it on your Hubbly site, right? And your marketing team could go into your Hubbly site and do all of that stuff. It's got a blog, all those things. And you could certainly decide this later on at any point. There's no need to make this decision now. But there's a good argument to keep both sites, to keep your main site, even if your marketing team can do everything in your Hubbly site. It always helps to have more than one website. It always helps, as long. And here's the main thing: if you're paying extra money to maintain the website, right? Not just like you're obviously paying a marketing team. You're paying them obviously. If you're paying an extra amount to maintain the website, right? Then
Mhm.
then it might not make sense to spend that money unnecessarily. But you actually get value at having 2, 3, 10 websites. Like as long as they all are maintained and match the branding and everything's working for you into one system, then the more websites the better. But it gets complex, obviously. So you
Well,
wouldn't.
I am working on rebranding with new logos, new looks,
Great,
new feel. So
awesome. So we'll apply all of that to your Hubbly site to match your branding, and
can you
that's all part of it. And we can make any updates at any point in time that you need.
can you go through this process that you created for it that I before I interrupted? Someone did
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
So
Somebody
when
did
did
a search, they found your website, or they came from a Facebook campaign, and they hit your site, um, and they fill out the inquiry form, which is a digital form, right, on the Hubbli
so
site.
that's my CMR right there?
I'm sorry?
This is my CRM part right here.
CRM. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So they fill out that form, and then what happens is, you can get notified. Obviously, you want to know. So you're going to get a notification. So and so filled out the form. That's like a default thing. And then they can start getting an automated sequence of emails that drive them um, to book the tour,
Hmm.
for to come in and check your site. And those emails can do a couple things. Number one, the goal is to, obviously, like, so it's like the technology is you can set up as many emails to go out, but what you want to try to do on a strategic level is to use them to talk about your school, and also help the people that aren't really a good fit for your school realize that this isn't the school for them, because you don't really want to do a tour with somebody that's not a good fit, right?
Right.
So, because tours are really time consuming, obviously, and
Hmm.
but set those emails up to drive the right people to book a tour. All of this is automated. They click on it, they go to the tour, they book a tour, you know about it, and then the system will also send you tasks and reminders, like this person has done a tour and and they haven't done an application form yet, like, that type of thing. So the system will also send you tasks to, like, remind you who needs to do what and at what stage of the enrollment process.
Great. That's a
And
CRM. Great. Good. Good. Good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's got marketing automation built into it. But for a school, it's not like crazy market. So CRM, marketing automation, they're very generally very expensive and complex systems, and you have to there's a lot of learning, right? So we've kind of built those components into your Hubbli site, and they're scaled down for what a school needs for that specific scenario, right?
Hmm.
Um, but it's very configurable. So this is just one example, but it sounds like more or less your process, right? And then at any point in time, you can see where these prospects are, like at what stage. So you're never losing track of anybody.
And
And
then
what's also great is, like, all of your staff are in your system, and you can assign any step to anybody. So, like, as an example, there's a CRM tool called Infusionsoft, which we've seen schools using for some of these types of features, but it's really expensive, and you pay per user, right? So it's like the Hubbli fee times however many users you want to be able to go in there. So however many admin or staff members, they all have to. You're paying like $200 a month per person, you know. Um, so it's really expensive to use that system. Whereas, like, with Hubbli, there's no limits. It's 199. Your entire school's in there, all your parents and all your staff.
what if I
And
have multiple locations?
yeah, so we have customers that have multiple locations, and depending on how you want to manage things, you could do it all from one site, because remember, it's a groups-based system, right? So you can have groups for different locations. Um, but some 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 places it just makes sense to have different sites per school. Um, and so that's something that you'd have to consider. But there's no reason why you need two different Hubbli sites. If you have more than one, then you don't have to, like, log into different sites. You've got one login for all your different schools, and you can go from one to the other. You log into one school, and then you can hop over to the other school from you have like an admin dashboard.
Can I see the number of students and enrollment aggregately on one platform? Like I want to see for one school and look at the whole overall business
hmm
in general.
So what we can do for that is, because that's something that only multi-location schools need. So what we do for that is, we build an integration, to, like, so we have the ability to move information from Hubbli into another system, um, anything that's in the cloud, basically. So we can move it all into, like, a Google spreadsheet or something, and build a report in there, if you have, like, specific reports you want to see that are, like, aggregating information from multiple locations. So that's how we do that. But inside Hubbli, you would only be able to see the students enrolled in that particular site from any from. So there isn't there isn't like a dashboard that bubbles up the information. And if you do need a separate site, there is like an additional, charge for it. Like we can give you a discount, but it would be an additional setup and an additional monthly fee or annual fee per school. Per Hubbli site. You can have multiple schools on one Hubbli site, but if you need more than one Hubbli site, then it becomes a multiple subscription.
Okay, so the parents book a tour on the website.
Yeah.
I get a task. They get several prompts for application form.
Right.
Then I send approval letter with link enrollment. And what's below that? Anything?
Oh, so yeah, sorry, it doesn't go on. We're just kind of showing this as an example. Whatever would make sense. The general thing is after the application form, you approve them, and then they get sent. Automatically they get sent a message that sends them to the.
And then they automatically enroll online.
Yeah.
Like the information they inputted, like the inquiry, their name, phone number, email. Now, will it take that information and match it for them to continue to fill in more detailed information on the form?
Yes. Yeah, so like data that's entered into one form can send it into another form.
Okay, I like that so far.
Yeah, and so like all these features, they're used throughout the entire enrollment process, and so it just automates the whole process and gets rid of all the paper. And if there are things that have to be uploaded at any point in whatever the point makes sense. I think usually it's the enrollment form. That's the form where enrollment or registration, like that's the form where if you need to upload specific state required forms, then they can be scanned and uploaded into the enrollment. They're attached to the enrollment form.
Can you please show me how, like, communications with the parents about taking pictures of the child or?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'll hop into so that all happens in the group, right? So there's a couple of ways that you can communicate with the parents about the child. I'll jump into a live demo site. So this is a site that's set up as if I'm a school and I'm using this, for my website. So I'm just going to switch into the administrator role here. So let's say I go into, so I'm in the groups here. So I'm going into the group for the Evergreen Room. So I'm in as a teacher, and I've uploaded some photos. So it's these photos are in the timeline. And so these photos are also being sent out to the parents when they're viewed here, but they're also sent to the parents as well in the notifications.
Okay. Can that look a little? It's like I took a picture and I posted in an email, but it doesn't look very beautiful. It looks like it's in an email, or where is it? Something a little more formatted.
Format? I mean, this is how it appears. I mean, it's like this is when it's in the post, and we also have albums. So you can create photo albums here that the parents can go to. It's for photos and documents. But I'm not sure what you mean.
Like,
Do you
for
have an example?
example, if they're doing a Montessori work, I'm looking for something that, like they did the sandpaper letters with and matched the beginning sounds to the objects.
You're talking about like a lesson plan?
It's a Montessori lesson plan.
Okay, yeah. So I can show you an example of that, but that wouldn't be. So what I'm showing you here is like the teacher went in and like took a photo with their phone of something going on a field trip or something like that. And it would be posted in here, or they uploaded a picture or shared a document. But so I have an example of a lesson plan. So this like I'll just show you here. Let's see. I think it's at the very bottom. Family Montessori lesson plan. So this is, if I'm a teacher and I'm going to create a lesson plan for a child, go in and select the child, and then I can select the category like language and select visual discrimination, and then like this is the this is like really just a picture. I mean, this could be more formatted or done differently. This is like a quick example, but then this would be you know recorded for the teacher to see, or teacher and the parents to see the lesson plan for this child at this time, at this day or week or month or whatever. But we would have to get like this lesson plan information from you to set it up for you. But like we don't have the lesson planning content. But this is how a form can be used for for a teacher to do lesson planning. And it can also be shared with the child, with the parents of the child.
What if I'm not interested in like all the details of how the lesson's presented? More in terms of hi, this is a picture. It's in one of the 5 categories: language, cognitive, social, emotional, practical life, like whatever field it is. But this is what it is helping your child to learn. Basically, that's kind of what I'm wanting, not a full-blown lesson plan.
So we could set that up for you. We just have to get the specifics from you as how you want it to work.
With my new marketing team, they have set up certain specs for forms, not forms, but formats for like newsletter style. Could you incorporate that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And so I just want to show you here, like this is like, a student page for my daughter Leora. And so any form that's submitted about a child goes to their student page. Also, I just want to apologize because we're doing a screen share. It really slows the web browser down, so it takes a while to load. But so this is the page for Leora. This is you can put photos up on this page. So this is a private page about this child shared with the parents and the staff of this child. And if you want to message the parents of that child, you can just go here and write them a message. You can also like CC another staff member. And this is where all the records are, show up. It's like kind of like a digital filing cabinet.
Mhm.
And so you can so we've got like, napping logs and snack logs, whatever type of documentation you take about children, emergency contact information, and field trip permission forms, even, scope and sequence reports, lesson planning. I just got so many different examples on here, so it's longer than the average list. But so just to show you, like a parent can come in here and see the progress of a child through the different skills, and the levels of mastery.
Don't drive. So here's elementary movement.
So this is just an example of a scope and sequence report. So we could build this for you, so you can go in and uh, document the progress of a child. And this is just this is
Okay,
kind
so
of a simple one, but it can be as complex as you want.
I like that. That's what I was kind of looking for, where you can have the different lessons, practicing or mastered, something like that, with
Yeah.
a little bit more explanation.
Yeah. So just as an example, let me show you the form that was submitted from. So that's from the here is the scope sequence. So if you're a teacher, you go in and you're selecting the student, and let's say you select coordination, and then you're marking down the progress. It's Leora, my daughter, so she's mastered everything, of course. And then we've added like a note section here where you can leave notes, and we could also add a like a photo here, so you can like take a picture, you know, or upload a photo, and then that all gets added into the report.
On your scope and sequence, could you add one more column where it has more? Let me make that bigger. For some reason,
Should
I
I
must.
get?
It's too small. I don't know if I made it small or.
It might have zoomed out. I think if you use the scroll, it might. If you scroll up or down, it might zoom in or out.
I'm on Apple. Come on. Escape.
Might be if you hit Command plus, it'll zoom in.
Command.
Plus.
Okay, there we go. Where you have 4 columns, I would like to have a 5th column
Sure.
that explains like stringy activity is like a fine motor skill preparation for writing, that type of thing. Right on what
Yeah.
right so when you click on it, it's already showing you what the report is. I don't have to type notes in the bottom. They're kind of automatically generated as a.
Yeah. So we just have to have that content from you, then we can build that in for you.
Okay, good. It seems like you can do a little bit more customization to fit the model we like, but how long would that take?
Yeah. So I mean, generally speaking, like like just to give you an example, a scope and sequence, like this is a full kind of scope and sequence,
Yeah.
form. This took about a day or two to turn around. Like things like enrollment, like so the way it works is like when a school signs up with us, you kind of just dump everything on us, right?
Right.
And then we start setting it up. So we start with like this, we will prioritize things for you depending on the time of year. Like I'll give you an example. We had a school sign up with us, and they were they're going through our enrollment process and doing all the training and yada yada. But they told us like the next day they were about to mail out paper parent packets to all their families. And we're like, no, don't do that, because that would kill us if if one of our customers did that. I don't care if they just signed up the same day. Like the next day they did their entire parent packet digitally on Hubbli. We were able to prioritize things, and we have a standard turnaround which is 48 hours. But if you have a deadline or something, then and we're here for this. Doesn't go away. I mean, it's just kind of a lot at the beginning because you're onboarding everything, and that's why we do it for you at the beginning. This is actually, you can make these yourself. It's not very hard, and you can go in anytime you want and change this stuff yourself. Our form builder is really easy to use, but it's just so much, and you're also new to our system, so we want you to focus on training while we just set everything up for you. So we've just kind of learned that we need the software with the service. That's just what schools really need.
Okay.
So
So basically, it sounds like for $2.99, this would be my monthly fee, $2.98 per month, but on top of the billing of 1% of my sales to
Yeah.
3% of my sales.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Unless you want to forward that to the parents.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. I'm sorry. Um, so it's $2.98 plus 1% to 3% of my sales.
Yeah, unless you want to forward the transaction fees to the parents.
Which I probably would want to do because I don't think I can want to take that. So then more likely parents would probably be paying me with checks. I'm depositing and supposed to using your method then.
Well, you can allow them to use the check method if you want to, or so you have options in that regard. You can allow them to use credit card or not. You can allow them to download it and bring you checks or not. But our system handles all of it.
So my question is, if I get a check, I have to go in and select that they paid?
Yeah, you do. I mean, there's no way for the system to know
Right.
unless you go in and indicate it.
And how does this connect with QuickBooks?
Yeah, so it can send. So if are you using QuickBooks online?
I can sign up for it, but right now it's in my accountant.
So everything that's in here can be exported. You can just dump it all and just import it into QuickBooks if you're using like the desktop version.
Okay.
Yeah, all of the reports you can download. All of the invoicing and payments and all that stuff per account.
Do you have an example of? Can I go to one of the parents or one of the Hubli's websites, see what it looks? I'm not saying to dig in it, but kind of see what it looks like.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can show you a couple of examples here. All right. So let me show you an example also of. So this is like one of our customers, using Hubbli as their main website. And they just, again, they had this design on another site, and then we just migrated everything over for them. Here's another school. This is their main website, but
Was that Edinburgh in Indiana?
no, that's Edinburgh in Scotland. Actually, they're a Montessori school in Scotland. Really beautiful. I'm really kind of like thinking of going over there to visit. Really cool people. And then here's another school. This one's actually not a Montessori school, actually, which is rare for us. But other schools like our system, we just kind of focus on Montessori. It's just very different design. And I should also show you that, like, even Hubbli.com is, sorry, wrong website. Hubbli.com is this is the same website designer. Like, it's obviously a very different design, but it's all the same. It's all using the same website design tools. So we can really, I mean, we can do anything on here.
Do you feel that people with Hubbli have higher presence organically?
I don't feel it. It's a fact. Our system is, I mean, everything that you need to do to get high search engine rankings, you get out of the box with Hubbli. On top of that, we've got all the tools built in to optimize. Like like your marketing team would see Hubbli and be like, yeah, this is, if they know, if they're good and they're technical, they would see that it's got all the things. So every site is fully responsive, it's fully secure, and it's got all the keyword optimizations tools built in. These are probably all things that they're building into your site as well. It's just, it all comes out of the box with Hubbli. So your Hubbli site is, like, so let's just do an example here. Let me just show you. I'll do Montessori schools in Palo Alto. So I'm doing a Google search right now, right? So there's sponsored links here at the very top. First organic result, bowmanschool.hubbli.com. So that's a Hubbli customer, Bowman School in Palo Alto, California, using Hubbli as their main website. I'm actually going to, and I want you to see something. See how this navigation has like my students, my stream, my Bowman, my groups? I'm going to go ahead and log out of here. So I'm now going to do that again as a totally prospective parent. So I go to Google. I did the Google search, right? First listing at the top. By the way, if you notice, it's above Yelp. Okay, so we're outperforming Yelp, which is a place that people pay. Schools pay to be on Yelp, right? To be found. We're higher than Yelp. And if you go to the website, if you notice, this website looks really different now, right? Because I'm logged out. So all the navigation is all geared towards prospective families. So we have the ability to really change the experience. And we set all this up with you, but change the experience depending on who's logged into the site. So it's really advanced and really customizable. But I do want to mention, like, we need direction from you to do this. Like, out of the box, Hubbli is going to work. It's you've got access to all the features from day one. Nothing's held back from you. But this is a process of working with you. And the best thing is that to be honest, this will be really easy because you have a marketing team designing your current branding and your website. We're just going to take that and move it over. Whatever makes sense to move on to your Hubbli site. So you're going to keep your main website, and then we'll just match the color and the logo and the branding and all that stuff, and and move that over to apply that to your Hubbli site for you. But it's really, really easy to do yourself. Like if I'll show you, like, let's say, where's that demo school? I'll have to log in here again.
Is there? Can I set up another time to talk about marketing team, how to work together on this sometime today?
I probably won't be available unless it's like I'm pretty booked for the rest of the day.
Okay.
But yeah, it would be tough. But what I can do is I can send you, a recording of this, and you can go over it with them.
Oh, sure, that'd be helpful. Okay.
Yeah, and you might have some questions or whatnot. I get the sense I'm talking to like the decision maker, though. Is that right?
Yes, you are. Yes, I am. You are.
Okay. So if like, what's your process for making a decision then for Hubbli?
There isn't. I'm it.
Okay.
There's no. I mean, I just need.
So a couple of things I also didn't tell you about regarding pricing is that we offer a 60-day 100% money back guarantee. So if you sign up for Hubbli, and you go through so the only condition on the guarantee that you go through our onboarding program. So you have to complete the training and get us everything. We set it all up for you. If within the 60 days, if you're not happy, if you completed that onboarding and you're not happy with Hubbli, you get every penny back. So, and on top of that, we're not going to ask you to sign up for like a 3-year contract or anything.
Right.
You can, if you want to lock in the existing price to guarantee that you never pay more for the next 3 years, you can do that. But in general, like, our customers have a no contract policy, so you can just, our prices will likely increase here and there, as any company does. It'll be obviously within reason, but if you can cancel anytime. Like, you could use this for 6 months and say, for whatever reason, like, I'm getting out of the business. Whatever you want, you can just cancel. Like, So it's a pretty low risk decision in that regard.
Hmm.
Um, so I guess what I'm wondering is because uh, you're in a position to make a decision, would you be interested in, does it make sense for me to, like incentivize you today to make a decision with a discount? Because I could offer you a substantial discount if you can make a decision today. Um, we're obviously not going anywhere, and we'd love to bring you on board into our family at any point. But I have that, that leeway in a, in a situation like this where we've gone through the entire demo, and I'm talking to somebody that can make a decision. That I'm in a position to offer you. I could offer you like a 20% discount off the setup if you wanted to move forward.
I am the person to make that decision. And I would like to get this done so that by August timeframe, we're ready to go with my parents.
That's going to
So,
be all the more important to move quickly because it's, there, we're going to take the load off, but you know, you don't want to get into this too late because then things get stressful. That's what we see over the summer.
right. Okay.
So do you think you would you prefer to go monthly, or would you prefer to have the lower rate annually? So it
Well,
saves
right
you
now,
600.
I just spent 5 grand on a marketing team
Yeah.
to design my new website.
Okay.
So then to pay another $2,000 to kind of duplicate it, but to build the frame for Hubbli, I'm
Yeah.
probably more interested in monthly because I need to have marketing campaigns to build enrollment. 'Cause I need
Yeah.
money to
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
have.
so I think what we should also do is make sure that our first thing we do for you, because first and foremost, what you need is the enrollment process because your marketing is going to queue up and it's going to start sending traffic to you. Hubbly is going to also start helping you getting traffic, but we want to make sure that your enrollment process, first and foremost, is fully configured. So we'll make sure that that's done first.
Yes.
And you don't even need like by the way, that's ready to go. Like your website from day one is ready to go. It's just a default. It looks like this, but it's just doesn't have a logo and it's just blue. And then you can. It's really easy. There's one thing I want to show you because like this is really cool. So I'm logging in. So I'm like you. I'm going into my school's Hubbly site, right? Now, if I want to change anything, it's this easy. I go up to customize, and I can change my logo, so I can like select another picture or upload another picture and change my logo. Or I can change the colors, like layout and colors. I can change the toolbar to blue, or the navigation to orange, which is horrible, but you could do it if you want to.
My marketing
uh,
team, my marketing team is very particular about the colors.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, and we can match it exactly. This tool here allows you to match the exact color code to whatever your site is. So it would take
okay.
you about 3 seconds to match it exactly.
So I would like this recording to be sent to me so that I can share it with my marketing team. I will talk with them later today, and because I need to make some decisions by the first of next week.
Yeah. Um, okay. Well, I can. So what? I mean, I can. So for today, I don't